Well, it seems like I can finally answer this question. Are we done yet in terms of the spring transfer portal and what could be our final addition to the class? Let's talk about who that is and what it means for Hugh Freeze and the Auburn Tigers. War Eagle, and welcome back to the channel. My name's Kyle here at E2C Network, where we share the whole Auburn experience. As you're watching or listening today, be sure to drop a comment down below about this particular topic. We'd love to hear your thoughts as we're sharing ours. We do want to remind you to check out our friends at Alumni Hall. As an affiliate of theirs, you can help support us by supporting them. Since it's close to Father's Day, here's an option for you to look at: an Auburn Dad t-shirt at a really great price, but at very limited sizes. So you need to jump on this now while it's still available. It's a really great option for Dad to add to his Auburn game day arsenal. A lot of us have been wondering if the spring transfer portal was ever going to end for Auburn football. And it does seem like at this moment that this will be the final addition to this class for the foreseeable future, unless some roster things change along the way as we get to the fall season. Your latest addition from Jacksonville State, transfer wide receiver Shane Hooks, will join the wide receiver room as a graduate transfer with 1 year of eligibility. Overall, he becomes the 8th transfer in the spring portal and the 20th overall transfer in this cycle for Auburn football. Now let's talk about the timeline of events that brought us to the point of his commitment. It is quite a story, so hold on for just a second. It began back in 2017 when he committed to the Ohio Bobcats and did eventually sign with them in 2018 and began playing that season all the way up to the 2020 season with a red shirt in that first year. After that point, he decided to enter the transfer portal and signed with the Jackson State University Tigers and became part of Neon Deion's team, played the next 2 seasons for him and had some great numbers there. He did decide to enter the transfer portal one more time and originally decided to go with Ole Miss, you know, the self-proclaimed transfer portal king and all that. But unfortunately for them, did decommit, took a Tuesday visit to Auburn just before he decided to commit to the Tigers, the real Tigers. Now that you know how he got here, let's talk about some facts about this prospect. Originally from Olympia High School in Orlando, Florida, at the time he was considered a 3-star prospect, and a lot of people now as a transfer consider him to be a 4-star prospect. His measurables, 205 pounds and 6'4". You can see right there that that's a really good size wide receiver that's only going to add to the arsenal that Auburn has at its disposal. Now let's talk about some stats for Shane Hooks. What's he bringing to the table for Auburn? We'll look at his time at Jackson State. You can see from their website right here listed below me now all of the last 2 season statistics that he had. Let's look at his totals overall though. If you look at that, 19 total games played in with 82 total receptions for a total of 974 yards. This encompasses 12 total touchdowns. He has a long of 40, and that came during his senior year. So all of those stats show me this is a guy that has really good catching ability with the measurables on top of it. Makes it very exciting for Auburn. A few storylines around this commitment. From his timeline alone, you could tell he was quite the journeyman from his time at Ohio to Jackson State and now arriving at Auburn, and one point even considering Ole Miss. So you always wonder, are these guys going to stick around? But only 1 year left of eligibility. He's going to end his time at Auburn. The other interesting thing about this is yet another of this season of the Auburn-Ole Miss dynamic, whether it is Auburn courting Lane Kiffin to be their head coach, stealing some of their guys and coaches from that point on. There's been some interesting dynamics to Auburn and Ole Miss football this year, and this only adds to it on top of that. And the last thing, this is us dipping into that pool of Neon Deion himself. During his time as Jackson State, mind you, he didn't follow him over to Colorado, but you know he accrued some pretty good talent there, so it's nice to dip into that pool. Now that you know a little bit about the player, let's talk about what it means for Auburn football. We'll start with some numbers for the overall class, and if this is the final one, the class will stand at 40 total commitments and signees, with 18 of those being on the offensive side of the ball, and even more specifically, 5 of those are wide receivers. Let's talk about what his future might be here at Auburn, and we look at the depth chart a lot for that because you expect a guy with a lot of experience is going to find a way to break into that depth chart. The people that have left, we talked a lot about. Some of those most recent names have been Landon King, Tavares Dawson, but more prominent names that are still here are going to be guys like Malcolm Johnson. They're going to be Coy Moore, Javarius Johnson, and even Camden Brown. On top of that, you add the other 4 guys that are coming in: Nick Mardner, Caleb Burton, DeQuavius Story, and even brand new Jair Shorter. There's a lot of guys to compete against, but you got to think that his experience level and his measurables, as I keep talking about, are really going to help him earn some very quick playing time. Let's talk about where he's from, because it's always important for the pipelines in the recruiting process. And it comes from one of our most important states, and that is the state of Florida, the 7th overall in this class from the state, including the transfers. Some of the more prominent high school commits from Florida also would be Clay Whidden and DeQuavius Story, also a wide receiver commit, and there are a few transfers in there as well. And finally, what does this commitment mean for the overall class of 2023, if there is a future for it, because this could be it? As it stands right now, you've got all your needs addressed at the wide receiver position. Everybody who left has had their spot filled. You filled all the needs and then added some on top of that, it feels like. There's 16 total wide receivers. Everybody academically qualifies and everything on the roster at this point, with 11 of those most likely being the guys that are going to get opportunities for the most significant playing time. So the 5 that we have in this class, it feels like it's complete. So those are my thoughts on your brand new wide receiver commit for the 2023 class, Shane Hooks. Let me know what you think about him down in the comments section below. Be sure to do that so you can be in that subscriber giveaway that ends at 4,000 subscribers. You need to be subscribed because that's part of the process too. And as always, check out those links in the description for ways that you can help support Alumni Hall, but also us as well here at E2C Network, where we share the whole Auburn experience. War Eagle.